Hey, it's News from Heaven. Today we're talking about the spiritual difference between animals and humans. It's this funny, complicated situation we find ourselves in. Maybe funny is not the right word for it, but that there's people and then there's, which, you can understand, so there's a person, there's someone in there. But then there's this spectrum of life, going all the way from other mammals who seem to be really similar in a lot of ways to us, all the way down to single-celled organisms that can react to a few stimuli. And this is something. There's all kinds of fun stuff you can find out about it biologically and the similarities and differences and human beings' place and all that. But then there's on the spiritual side where we're talking about the idea of consciousness, that we are actually more than the biological body, that consciousness survives death, and is there a category that human beings are in that animals aren't in? And that's very controversial because you love your pets and you love animals, but on the other hand, it's people do seem to be a little bit different in a couple of ways. One is obviously the elephant in the room as we build cameras and do that sort of stuff, but also it's the whole bear maul somebody and you say, we shouldn't have gone into their territory, or they become habituated. You never say that bear is evil, but you can say that person is evil. So what can we ascertain from Swedenborg? And he does say there's a difference between human beings and animals spiritually. What is it? Edge of the seat. And is it anything that will apply to us, since we all happen to be humans? I think if you are not and you're watching, then let me know if you feel like this applies to you as well. I don't know what that joke is supposed to mean. So, since we're stuck here being human, what out of this can we get that allows us to, because humans do seem to have this task in front of us, which is don't be evil, be good. Try to be a good person, right? Can this help us with that? Okay. And can we sort through the misinformation in our own minds to get there? I think we can. This is continuing. If you check out our last episode, we talked about all this stuff with the levels of the mind that precedes this and is related to it. So please go check out that episode. Very much worth-ish your time. We started 240. This is Divine Love and Wisdom. Download it for free. Follow along. There are two abilities within us, gifts from the Lord, that distinguish us from animals. Right away. We didn't waste any time. No, let's ease into it. We have two things. And not just two things, but they're two abilities that distinguish us from animals. So, what's the difference between a person and an animal? According to Swedenborg, one ability is that we can discern what is true and what is good. This ability is called rationality and is an ability of our discernment. So, Swedenborg is asserting that ability number one is to be able to discern what is true and what is good. That there are these things that are transcendent up here. What's true and what's good. That these are moral topics, and that what human beings can do is inquire and understand what's true and what's good. And then on the flip side, what's evil and what's false. That's what Swedenborg calls rationality. Rationality isn't even necessarily, you can use tools or something like that. It is that you can learn to tell right from wrong. Okay? The other ability is that we can do what is true and what is good. That's not exactly what I thought it would be. The ability to do these two things. That we can tell in this situation, here is not just the thing that benefits me in this situation, but this is the right thing to do. This is what is the right thing to do. And maybe even backing up from a situation, this is the right thing to do with my life. This is what I should be trying to accomplish in life. That is what distinguishes people and animals. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. This ability, what is that? So we had rationality. This ability is called freedom and is an ability of our volition. So the bear that attacks somebody is just being a bear. Like, and it couldn't, like, in the moment, looking back, I shouldn't have done that. Like, the bear is the bear. Doesn't mean the bear isn't much better at a lot of things than we are. It doesn't mean that the bear is, because I love animals and I love nature. And so it's interesting for me to think over Swedenborg's distinctions here and how do they sit with me. It doesn't mean that animals can't have noble qualities, right? And can't be inspirational and can't express love to other animals and develop these quirky, hilarious animal friendships between different species and all that. I'm sure you've seen articles, read books about that. But it does seem to indicate that there is a particular, that we have, human beings have the angel and the devil on the shoulder, right? And that is part of what the human condition is. And we have the potential, it's not an automatic, that there's a lot more variability in what a human being can be. You can be really great or you can be really not so great. And he calls it rationality and freedom. Those are the two things. Rationality being the ability to understand what is true and good. Freedom being the ability to go do what is good. There's an opposite freedom, which is the ability to do what is evil. And he says if we misuse that, then we're actually much worse than the animal condition because we're actively pursuing evil, which no animal is evil. No animal actively pursues evil. They're just, I'm hungry. This is what I do. These are my instincts. Because of our rationality, we can think what we want to think, either in favor of God or against God, in favor of our neighbor or against our neighbor. Do you ever notice how hands-off, if we're really talking about God being the architect of everything and being the force that shapes the flow of everything and can take credit for the making of everything, man, does God not want the spotlight? Because here you have life, and there's just such healthy, vigorous debate about whether there even is the existence of God. How often would you, if people were all like sitting around looking at a gallery of paintings you had made or listening to the music you had made, and everyone's like, did anyone even make this? That you wouldn't, wait, I made it. So it must be part of what the essence of God is like, is this desire to have it be where we can think either way and where we can do either way. We can also intend and do what we are thinking, or when we see something evil and are afraid of the penalty, can use our freedom to refrain from doing it. It is because of these two abilities that we are human and are distinguished from animals. These two abilities are gifts from the Lord within us. So whatever we think about, so there we have what he says about the difference between humans and animals. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But now we have these two abilities. I don't think I would really deny that we have those abilities, the rationality and freedom, and that we have this field of possibility in front of us. So let's talk about these two gifts. These two abilities are gifts from the Lord within us, which don't gloss over. You can say, we humans have rationality and freedom. I don't have it. I didn't make. When did I design? When did I power rationality and freedom? I woke up with them, and I have them today. But if they shut off tomorrow, it's kind of like if this tablet I'm writing on stopped working, like suddenly just blinked out, I could do nothing about it. Like you want to talk about opening this up and like the circuitry that's in there. I know nothing about that. This is my tablet. It's not my tablet. I don't know anything about this. So it is with rationality and freedom. These are the Lord's in us. So we don't really, in a certain sense, have anything that animals don't have, because every living thing is a recipient of whatever package of life the Lord is distributing. So don't sleep on these are from the Lord. And actually, the acknowledgement, just since you're here, the acknowledgement of this, that our abilities to, and specifically, Swedenborg just harps on this, the ability to understand what is true and the ability to do what is good, that is from the Lord. You can't do that on your own. And understanding that, even though you do good stuff and think good stuff, that is because the Lord is coming in and doing it with or for or through you. It's a very difficult to parse out concept. It's something you really got to think on. But getting yourself to a place where you can understand that, oh yeah, everything true and good that I can go do is actually the Lord. That is the ticket. That is the express ticket to heaven. And for what it's worth, when all these negative thoughts and feelings and fears and critiques of how you are as a person and who you are, right? Which again, are animals as troubled by their value? This all evaporates when you believe that truth and goodness and the ability to even act on them come from the Lord. Because then if somebody says, like these clouds will say to you all the time, hey, you can't do anything right. No, I can't. Nobody can. You can't. Oh, dark cloud. You can't. Nobody can. Only the Lord can do something that's true and good. So I don't have to worry about how I stack up. Because today the Lord has given me this. Just telling you, that is a really strong hand to play in those situations. These two abilities come from him constantly and are never taken away. For if they were taken away, that would be the end of our humanity. Even doesn't matter how much we abuse them, they're always going to be there. And this, I guess, is leaning a little into why doesn't the Lord just stop evil? Because the freedom to do evil, if you just remove it, you would destroy a bunch of people, which the Lord can't do. The Lord lives in each of us, the good and the evil alike, in these two abilities. Okay, that's where the Lord lives. Where you think God's in your heart? Where? In our rationality and in our freedom to do good. That's where the Lord lives. They are the Lord's dwelling in the human race, which is why everyone, whether good or evil, lives forever. I mean, come on. You came here for the animals versus human, but look at this. The Lord dwells in the human race. Where? In these two abilities. That is it. However, the Lord's dwelling within us is more intimate as we use these abilities to open the higher levels. So God's here, but he hasn't really unpacked until we discern, go follow what's true and good. Look at the previous episode about opening these higher levels. By opening them, we come into consciousness of the higher levels of love and wisdom, and so we come closer to the Lord. It makes sense then that as these levels are opened, we are in the Lord, and the Lord is in us. Literally, is in us. When you think of your ability to go do something constructive, to want to do something for the right reasons and carry it out, that's in you, right? That's a feeling, just like any of your feelings. That's calculations, like any of your calculations. To think that the more we open that's the Lord. Where's God? We're looking at where is God? That's God. That feeling. And then when you understand anything true, the matrix within which you understood that truth, that's like direct God contact there. And the more so, the more we learn to love the goodness and truth. I have noted above that the three vertical levels are like a purpose, means, and result. These are levels of the mind. And that the sequence of love, wisdom, and usefulness follows this sequence. I need at this point then to say a little about love as the purpose, wisdom as the means, and usefulness as a result. If you need to do it, we're here for you. Swedenborg, just lay it on us. People who pay attention to their reason when that reason is in the light can see that our love is the purpose of everything we do. Since it is what we love that we think about, decide upon, and do, so it is what we have is our purpose. And I think another distinction Swedenborg is trying to make is that, right, that the human, you can have a huge range of what your purpose is. And your purpose can be just survival, right? Sustenance, procreation, that can be your purpose. Your purpose can be, you can follow the darkest pleasures of the human heart and say, I live for those things, right? That can be your purpose. And anything along the line. And just say, I live for gratification, despite the harm that gratification causes. But you can also say, I live to help the people who need help. I live to serve the common good. I want to cause some kind of great change. And everything in between there, any of these can be the purpose of our life. Like, this is the human condition here. Where are we going to fall along that? Okay. Oh yeah. So that's all about the love being the purpose of everything we do. So everything we think, everything we go through. Our reason can also show us that wisdom is the means. Since the love that is our purpose gathers in our discernment the means it needs to reach its goal. Every single one of these motivations needs a code of life to go with it. If you're here, maybe you're just not thinking that much. You're just, okay, I know what I need to seek pleasure, avoid pain. If you're starting to get more depraved, going down this way, you need a justification. You need some kind of twisted philosophy that will make it so you can tell yourself, it's all right, I'm not that bad, because nobody wants to think they're that bad, or it's okay to be bad, or something like that, right? But if you're going up towards heaven, there's this whole gravity of hell trying to pull you down here, trying to pull you down. So to climb up that, you need these truths. You need this scaffolding of higher knowledge to be able to climb up and up and up and allow the Lord to open to get to there, which is like the love and the wisdom together. Yeah, that's good. So, and think about the relationship again here. We're constantly learning about what kind of part love and wisdom love each other. They are married to each other, Swedenborg says. When we get to be where we really want to be, those two are married in us. They are like a loving couple, and that's how they are in God. So here we learn a little bit more about their relationship. Our reason shows wisdom is the means, since the love that is our purpose gathers in our discernment the means it needs to reach its goal. So it listens to its wisdom. And these resources constitute the means through which it works. So love knows where to go, right? It has the sight, but wisdom knows how to get there. And the love has to listen. Okay, how do we do that? There's this partnership there. We can see without further explanation that usefulness is the result. Oh yeah, none of this stuff is real. You got your love and your wisdom, right? All these have a result. These have very negative results. This has a very neutral result. Up here, you start to get the really positive results for everyone, all the rest of us who are downstream, the rest of the human race, around here. And ultimately the Lord that are downstream from whatever we are here. This is where the life reaches its sort of conclusion. In near-death experiences, you ever read those, how they go through people's lives in the life review, and what do they focus on? You go see how your actions affected others. You go through and see how all your actions affected others. That while we usually focus on ourselves, the net outcome of our life is this effect on other people. That's the usefulness. Love, though, is not the same in one individual as in another. So wisdom is not the same in one individual as in another, and neither is usefulness. Since these are matched in kind, these three are matched in kind, the quality of our love determines the quality of our wisdom and of our usefulness. I say wisdom, but this means whatever is characteristic of our discernment. Down here, that ain't really wisdom. Whatever's justifying this stuff, it's just construct. You're just taking ideas and twisting them. But up here, you're starting to really see things from an amazing perspective that anyone would say if they understood it. Wow, that is wisdom. And I love this idea that the love is different and the usefulness. So you as an individual can go and have a different, even if you've got a good goal, like other people have good goals, your good goal is different than anybody else's. And the way you will affect other people in the human race is different than anyone else can possibly do. And actually, there's a space that's missing without you there to do this positive stuff, right? But the human condition and what we have, the challenge we have that animals are not faced with, according to Swedenborg, is that we can either show up and get there to be making that impact on all of existence, or we can go in the opposite direction and actually degrade that impact on all of existence. So I think let's do the first. Let's go up. Let's get this love and wisdom together. Let's use these two human abilities of rationality and freedom to do good. Use them for what they're intended for, which is to be benevolent, to be a good citizen of creation. And that's the news from heaven. How'd you like it? Hope you enjoyed it. Hope these ideas are helpful. Let us know in the comments how it's striking you. And go to otle.cosvox.com. Just do it right now if you feel like you want this kind of programming to continue. We're a nonprofit. We need that. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting us. Means a ton. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys next time on News from Heaven. Have a great day.